Going on to our last Breakthrough Demo Award. I have to say, for me, as a child, I actually consumed a lot of anime and manga. I've always liked Japanese media. And there was one in particular that, when I was young, was pretty big and dragged me into things. It was called Naruto. He had a catchphrase there called, "Believe it." Well, you're not going to believe this. I'm introducing VoyceMe.
Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for the wonderful intro, and thank you for all coming today. I'm Dylan Telano, the CEO and founder of VoyceMe, and I'll dare to say I'm the largest nerd that is going to touch this stage tonight. And hopefully, over the next 10 minutes, I can share with you how VoyceMe has changed the manga and anime industry. I'm going to use this for now. So let's get a quick raise of hands. Who knows what manga and anime is? Quick raise of hands. This is great. Keep those hands up. Keep those hands up. I didn't say put them down. Now look around. This is a practical example of how an industry has changed. 4 years ago, I have asked our first ever investors I've ever reached out the same questions. No one raised their hand. I had to spend the first 15 minutes explaining there's golden niches. Now, manga is around the world. VoyceMe is riding this tide. Let's talk about some big IP and why you should all care about this space. There's an IP called Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer made over $9 billion over the last year. Netflix. Who knows what Netflix is? The most watched show in the second half of 2023? No, it wasn't Bridgerton. No, it wasn't another Netflix original. It was a manga adaptation for One Piece. One Piece launched with 2 months left of the year, and it broke records for the most engaged show on all of Netflix. Who has heard of the following IP? Superheroes. DC, Marvel, Godzilla, Terminator, the list goes on. Everyone is trying to adapt into the manga and anime industry. And that is why VoyceMe is the fastest growing anime platform in the world. Now, who is this random 20-year-old on the stage with gray hair trying to convince you all what nerdum is? Well, this is me. Well, kind of. This is kind of me. This was me when my dad handed me my first manga. Too young to even understand what the hell I was reading. As I got a little bit older and my brain developed, I fell in love with the space. I realized that there was something that no other medium had. It was storytelling. Considering this down throughout my whole life, fast forward a little bit, I was 16, and what happened? My whole life, I was a creator, but the manga industry has been fragmented. There is no way for me as a creator to interact with other fans, with other creators. It was fragmented my whole life. 16 years old, this was the rise of esports. And what is one thing that if anyone knows about gamers here, gamers are open about their love for manga and anime. I was a weird kid. I was pretty ambitious. When I put my head to something, I always wanted to achieve the best. So when I joined the esports space, by the time I was 16 and a half, I was the youngest professional esport player in the game that I played. I was ranked #1 in North America, ended up joining a few different organizations, ended up running one of the organizations because I love the business side. Time I was 17 and a half now, I was running a nonprofit that connected veterans and video gamers in a supportive community. I was managing 350 people remote internationally. Why does any of this matter? It's because gamers love anime. Throughout my whole life, I've been interacting with the only crowd of people who's been disgruntled about the space. Readers who have to complain about the pirating. Creators who want to know how more publishing opportunities. I have learned this through this opportunity. And then one fateful night, when I was in high school, I was sitting in a TeamSpeak call, if anyone remembers that. I was with a few employees and a few creators trying to write my own story. And a light bulb went off in my head. I just spoke around, I was reaching out, I was just asking the question to the crowd, my friends. I asked, can anyone here actually think of a manga or anime created by an English language creator? Think, a manga, any anime, any manga. My friends were quiet for 30 seconds. No one could think of one name. Then when you looked into the creator experience, creators weren't getting paid. Creators were working 80 hours a week, 7 days a week. They were getting paid nothing. Then you look at it from my perspective. I'm an author. I'm colorblind. I can't imagine things in my head. How do I find a team to work with me to make a manga? The issue is you couldn't. It was impossible for manga authors to find the creators. And then you look into the actual creator experience. If you are a professional manga artist in Japan, your life expectancy is 20 years younger, shorter. Let me restate that. If you create art, manga art within Japan, you are expected to die when you are 60 years old. That is not okay. That should never be allowed. And that is when I started working a full-time job. Started working a full-time job at a video game market research firm. I took all my esports monies, which was nothing at the time, and I also took my college savings. And I also took all that bar mitzvah money that I had. Boil that together was about 20,000 buckaroos, and that is how I started VoyceMe, the hub for Manga, the platform to empower creators, the platform to reward readers, the hub for this growing medium. Let's break this down. So I promised I'd share what VoyceMe is and who the heck I am. I like to describe VoyceMe in 3 parts. The first is our UGC platform. VoyceMe has over 2 million monthly active unique users on our platform today. Why do creators post on our, why do we have this platform? Anyone can tell their story. Me, you, a creator from around the world named John can come into our platform, upload their story, and benefit from our tools. I won't tell you what our tools are, but I'll paint you the picture. Imagine you were reading a story, any story. And right from reading that piece of content, a book, a comic, a manga, you were able to interact with all the other fans of that IP right where you consumed it. Imagine that. You watched the coolest climax ever in a TV show, right away, interaction with all the people who consumed it. Then imagine from this community, right from reading the digital story that you love, interacting with the community that you love, you can interact with the author, the artist. Then you can go buy the signed physical book of that digital story on that same platform. The merchandise. You can watch the anime right where you consume the manga, and then you can use our StoryTech to now even tell a story, which I'll share more on. That's the vision of VoyceMe. Creators have a one-stop shop for their whole IP to engage their fan base. Readers have everything at their fingertips. Now, VoyceMe is also the largest studio within all of North America creating original manga and webtoons. We have over 300 creators constantly working with us to create new IP and adapt the top IP into the space. VoyceMe has the fastest production speed, the fastest velocity, the highest quality of content for manga and webtoon production in the world. How do we do this? It's a little bit of the StoryTech. If you were to create a manga, any manga, me, if I wanted to start tomorrow, any indie creator, a studio, a platform, it doesn't matter. It is expensive and it is slow. It can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, up to a year and a half, depending on how everything plays out perfectly, to build a manga. It's a team. It costs money. If you're an author, you need artists. If you're funding a story, you need both. It can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 to create one manga. But at VoyceMe, we changed the story a little bit, where when we create our stories, when our creators create IP, they're not burnt out. They're not working these crazy hours. We're allowing creators to get their stories told, their voices heard. On VoyceMe, it's not a year, it's 4 weeks. It's not 50,000 to 100,000, it's under 1.6 thousand. And in the upcoming months, as we keep developing our tool, that goes down to less than 100. We are able to build massive stories. What we are doing is we're going to build the largest manga library in the world. Thousands of stories will be able to get told from our platform. Everyone, if they want to read a manga, where do you go? To this platform. If you want to create your own story, where do you go? This platform. We are the hub of Manga. And we're already halfway there. Millions of readers love our series. We have one of our original IP up there called God Game. In a few weeks, this will be the first ever English original manga to get an anime adaptation. Global history. Our second biggest title, The Mad Gate, 8 million views, is a video game coming out of it soon. Chrysalis, one of the biggest novels in the world, we adapted it because of our technology, because of our tools, and the creator wants to work with us. It's under 12 chapters, one of the fastest growing series, and we're about to launch it, and we're going to be selling an anime of it shortly. People want to read our stories. This is a rinse and repeatable cycle. We will build hundreds of stories with all of our own creators. We will uplift and create a new generation of creators that will use our tool on our platform. As we create hundreds of series with millions of views, we'll be able to do something which no one has been able to do. We create scalable IP. We take our tool that we've been using to build this library, then release it to UGC. Our creators, you, me, anyone around the world can now create in the same style of God game. If anyone here knows manga or anime, One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, imagine you can create in those styles. Imagine any art style you can now match. That's the power of our technology, where we are turning hundreds of millions of potential readers into now creators in our ecosystem. Now, let's share a little bit about the StoryTech, because I've been hyping up and I've been sharing a little bit about it. What makes VoyceMe's technology so unique? I like to break it down to one word. It is consistency. I'll paint another picture because that's what I like doing. Imagine a manga. Imagine a comic. Imagine any graphic novel. Then imagine a character getting punched in the face, falling through 4 images, hitting a brick wall. The brick wall explodes. Boom, pow, wow, it pops up on the screen. Okay, now I'll throw it back to you guys. Describe that in a prompt text that I could put into my generative AI tool. You can't. How do you get the shading to be consistent between every single image? How do you get the characters to look the same? The outfits, the coloring. How do you get the environment? That is what we have solved: consistency. With our tool, we have some pretty big missions, and this is why our creators love using our technology. We empower all creators. We're not another Gen AI tool. We're not a text prompt. We're not built for webcomic generation. We are a tool built by creators for creators. An author, a line artist, a drafter, a colorist, an inker. You probably never even heard of those roles, but those are all people that exist, and that's how they're really classified in their specialty. Our tool is built for every single one of those creators. Our tool helps create content faster, which allows for creators to generate more revenue in their pocket, more ad revenue, more coin revenue. Readers in this space won't even touch a story till there's 20 chapters out. That's a year of production. That's another year of launching content. The creators see $0 until that 20 mark hits. Now they can do that right away. And what's the underlying success of all of our tool, of why actually creators really love it? It's ethical. We are the only ethical source tool in the space right now. All of our artwork is our copyright. We own it. It is our proprietary data. We've been a studio for over 3.5 years. We have thousands and thousands of images, tens of thousands of scripts. We were able to take this to build the consistency, but also build an ethical tool. On top of this, creators, anyone can submit images to us that we train our tool with. And then, or we can license big art styles, where anyone can now create stories from that famous top IP. Everything is ethically trained in source. So I just want to really underline this as an important aspect of what makes VoyceMe StoryTech actually empowering creators. Let's just say I'm an author. I don't have the art skills, but I use God Game's art style. It is the God Game art team is credited as the artist, and they get royalties as if they were the artists. What we're simply doing is creating a scalable art style for people to create content, but at the same time, acknowledging and rewarding the artists. And artists love that. They don't have to do anything, and they get residuals on all these projects. Their name gets thrown everywhere. It is an exposure, monetary boost on top of everything that our tool has done. Now let's get a little bit into the tool itself. To build a model for us, to build a data set, it's quick, it's easy. We need one chapter, or what we call one episode. If you submit one episode, one chapter to us, our tool can learn that full art style from everything, can learn the characters, the assets, anything that you need. So, for example, these are all images from one real chapter that we made. And we took only these images, put into our tool, and I'll show you that demo in a second, but I bet you didn't know, or maybe you didn't realize, every image I showed in this deck has been using our tool. It is all consistent images that all look the same at a high caliber quality. We didn't touch any of those images. So now I'm going to play this video over here and break down what our StoryTech looks like. And I think the video is loading under some Wi-Fi issues, so I'll explain it as it loads up here. Our tech can be used in multiple different ways from all creators. At first, we have every single stage. at VoyceMe, we break it down to 2 steps, our character library and our generation. That's how we get consistency. So let's say in our character library, you just write a prompt. I want a gray-haired dude that looks like 20 years old with a microphone. And our tool will generate a prompt, and you can whatever is the generated output, you can tag it. So, for example, let's say you generate the character, you call him Dylan. Whenever you now type Dylan within our prompt, within our tool, you're able to generate that character. In the draft stage, in the line art stage, you can get it colored, you can get effects on it. Every single part of the equation, our tool can work on. So right now, how our artists are currently using our tool is they're uploading, they're able to take their manga script and put it right into our tool to create input. Why is that so important? Well, let me just say some words to you. A medium shot, a 3/4 bust shot, a worm eye view. Every single medium has a different explanation of that. But we're a tool for the creators, so when you type in those specific manga angles, our tool is able to get that exact output out. With this as well, what also makes our tool unique is the generation. Oh, I think, well, it's loading in a second. We'll figure this out. I'll keep walking us through the picture here. As our tool goes to this stage, you can generate line art, this coloring. You can put it together. How our creators have been using it is we generate image by image. So let's just say within, oh, I think we got this here. So I'll let this demo play, and as I'll quickly explain it out here. At the top right, you're able to see the styles. You were able to see the characters. Then we type in a prompt here. So let's just say it's Claude. That is the character that we know. This is Claude, so everyone knows. This is our generation of him. Watch him throughout the rest of this whole presentation. He won't change. We can do this for any character that we upload with any images. So as we go through this demo here, we're going to now do an Avon character. We uploaded a couple images of him. We're going to type in a very specific manga angle, get a specific generated prompts. Our creator takes it in a few seconds, can upload it right into our tool. So now why is this useful? Let me continue this story here. To make a manga, there's multiple different artists. The drafter takes an hour to make drafts. The line artist takes 2 hours to clean up the drafts. The colorists, if a team of them, take another 3 hours. Do the math, that's 6 hours. 6 hours per image a team takes to create one of these manga. What we're doing here, just on this line art stage, we saved 3 hours. Imagine if you had 3 more hours within your day, what would you do? Then our tool, as you can see, can also create coloring prompts. We can either take an image and color it, which I'll show you in a second, or you can just create a colored image. So let's just say you are an artist. You draw it out a graph, but you just need some help coloring it. Our tool can do all of it. You can tag that character. Our tool will remember the coloring and be able to consistently do it. So let's keep running this example here, and let's let this keep playing out. As what you'll be able to see here is the continuing of this character, the consistency and the generation of the look from the first image, from the third image. Every character is consistent. Now, let's take this. Let's color this image. We click the image, we press colorize, and boom, we got a colored image. 1, 2, 3, just like that. This now saved 6 hours. If you had 6 hours back in your life, what would you do? That is the question we ask our creators. To continue down the flow a little bit here, as this keeps going out, we're going to be showing you a few more generations of the features within our tool. So as we are continuing showing different uses of our tool, let's break this down. In the bottom left here, we see this layer tab. Every image that we upload automatically goes in a layer. Why? Because we are artists. That's how artists create. So if you need to change a specific background, you just click the background layer that was generated and you could change that. Our tool automatically makes every image layered. So here's a fun example. Let's just take this image. We created this character here, this is of Avon. We uploaded the line art. Then we colorized it. You can see the one-to-one image here. This is the same character, and every single prompt colorized in an actual manga and webtoon style. More importantly, a style that people will read. Not an AI'd story, a real consistent story. On the top left here, we have additional features. If you look at the little bar at the top. As a creator, how do you actually just generate images, right? On here, we're showing prompts. But let's say you want to be a little bit more creative. How do you solve that brick issue? Well, with VoyceMe, you can draw by sketching. You can upload a sketch. You can upload an image from Instagram, Pinterest. Our tool will then understand that character and create a character in that style. You could automatically create a character with our tool. All this is possible with this feature of our creation. With it as well is, here's an example of us with changing our clothes. So let's just say now you have a character, you have a style. You can now just upload an image from Amazon, from your closet, wardrobe, Pinterest, doesn't matter. You select a character, and you can change the outfit. What our tool does, takes the outfit, takes the image, automatically converts it into that style, puts it right onto the character. 1, 2, 3, done. Now let's just say you want this character, you love this character. You're like, man, this jacket's great. You can tag this as Avon_jacket. Now whenever you type that, guess who gets generated? This character right here. But it doesn't end there. Let's just say you're like, you know what, I want to try this story under a different style, a new style. You can click an image, click a different style, it converts that image into a new art style under that artist. Same looking character, same vibe, different art style. That's the unique power of our tool. We have some other demos, but I think for the sake of this, for the Wi-Fi, well, I'll summarize the case of this. What is the power of this tool? I'll paint you one final picture here. You're trying to make a manga, a character gets punched in the face, they fall through 5 walls. How do you do that? You open VoyceMe StoryTech. You don't need 6 artists, you need 1 artist, a creator, a creative mind to be able to tell this story. With our tool here, you're actually able to put a mannequin into the story, into the canvas itself, or you can just position a model. And you can actually see it here as the wizard toning up here. You adjust a 3D mannequin to get a very specific angle. What our tool then knows is, let's just say you call this Avon, takes Avon, puts them in this exact style. This is how you can get specific manga generation. And that's what we're building at VoyceMe, a consistent tool that empowers creators, that is ethically sourced, and is revolutionizing the manga industry. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.